Typically, for a skew line question, they normally ask you to find, they can ask you to find the shortest possible distance on the auxiliary view or the shortest possible distance. They could also ask you to find the shortest possible distance on the plan. So the shortest possible distance on the plan would be here. Also, the shortest possible distance on the front elevation or on the elevation. This is referred to as a vertical plane as well, or elevation. Here is referred to as the plan or horizontal plane. So horizontal plane or plan, vertical plane or elevation. Now, to find the shortest possible distance on the plan and the front, we first need to go a step a little bit further. We need to produce another auxiliary projection to the parallel lines. All right. So to do that, we draw some lines. We draw some lines perpendicular to our parallel lines. All right. So let us change to a different color. Let's use probably this color. So the next step would be to draw parallel lines to all these points. No, I don't want that. It's too thick. So first step is to draw a perpendicular line through all these points. If you're using AutoCAD, what you would do, you would, after engaging line, you would hold down the Shift key and click the right mouse button at the same time. Yeah. Again, if you're using AutoCAD, probably I should explain to you a little bit how you would do that. You hold down the Shift key, press the right mouse button, or line. I would need to engage line first. Hold down the Shift key, right mouse button, and click perpendicular. Yeah. And you then touch this line here, touch the line, and then it would produce that. Okay, so to find the shortest possible distance on the plan, we would draw perpendicular. We need to establish auxiliary x2, y2, right? So for that, we need to draw perpendicular lines to the parallel lines. So for that, let me change to that color. And we go to line. So we draw a perpendicular line through that point, perpendicular line through this line as well. That's number 2. Perpendicular line from this point out. Perpendicular line from this end as well. Yeah. So now that we have done that, our next step is to establish our y2, x2, y2. So that must be perpendicular to these lines, these parallel lines. So let me change again to a different color. Let's use green this time for our, let's do it down here. And this is x2, x2, y2, y2, x2, y2. So now x2, y2 will be our reference line, all right? And of course, remember the principle? The principle is you always to draw the auxiliary projection for a view, we must step back twice. So for example, I'm working here on x2, y2. So this is the current one that I'm working on. This is one view. So we must take the measurement from this view, from x1, y1, y1. All right. So again, we are working on this view. To generate the auxiliary projection, we must step 2 views back to take our measurements. So we are working here, 1 view, 2 view. Yes, it means therefore that our measurements must be taken from the x1, y1 line here and then transfer to this. This is some distance away, so I'm going to reduce this. I'm going to bring this x1, y1 up a little bit more, closer to where we want the measurement to be. Yeah, as this distance, it would be, the measurement would be from here to here, which is some distance away. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change to black, and then I'm going to bring my x1, y1 up a little bit, up like about here. So this will be the reference line that I'll be using to transfer the measurements. So now just similar to what we did before to get our parallel lines. I need to transfer the measurements, measurement from, so this is x2. So this of course is, sorry, x1. This is x1 is the same x1, y1 that I bring forward up here on this plane. So my next step is to transfer this distance from here to here on that view. I want a different color for this. All right. So let's choose this. So now I'm going to transfer the distance from here to this point, from A1 to X1, Y1 line on the A line. So we come here, we come up here. This is A, this is A. So we transfer this from here. I want a thicker line. I should use a different color, use that brown. So I transfer that distance on this line, which seems to be about here, or there. And of course, I label as I go. Text, this is A, this is A2, 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 all right? It's best to label as you go. We then go to B, and again, we transfer this distance here. Transfer this distance on the corresponding line. So we go up to B, this is B2. So we start here and we transfer that distance onto this line. And we could go ahead and join here same time. I want to use a different line with thickness. So we join here to there. Yeah, to get one line. For this, we should get an X or a cross, right? Our next step is to go to C1, and we're going to transfer C1 distance, this distance, onto C1 line. So we go up and track C1. C1 is here. This is the reference point. We click here and we try to transfer the exact distance. Please note that when you're drawing this using instruments, you must transfer the exact distance. And of course, we label as we go. This is C2, C2, and this is B2, this is B2. Right? The next one is D2. So again, we are gonna transfer this distance here to here on D1 and D2 line. So this is it. It comes here, comes around here. So we start here and we transfer the same distance there onto this. And as you can see, we will then join these points. So again, don't forget to label. Then we join from here to there. Yes. And now at the point where both lines cross each other is the point is the shortest possible point on both the front end and plan, or we would produce this line back to the to the different planes or projection. So we have auxiliary projection 2, then another projection here, auxiliary projection 1, and we have x1, y1. So our next step is to draw a line, produce lines parallel from this point here down through this. So we go to line. I'm changing my color. I want to use probably, let's see, blue. Let's use this. Let's use black. So for that, so we draw parallel line starting from here, parallel line. Oh, I don't just do thick. So for this, we draw a parallel line. This line should be parallel to those lines. So from here to here. So from here to here would be the true parallel distance for here on the first auxiliary view or on the auxiliary plane. Our next step to get the shortest possible distance on the plan view, we produce this using the same parallel line up to here. Yeah. Up to here. Yeah. So to go through these, and one point would be here, one point would be there. All right, so let's extend this a little bit more, make it a little bit more pronounced. Yeah, so the shortest possible distance would be from this point to that point. Normally we use a different color or we brighten up this. I'm gonna use a different color to brighten up that. So it would be from here to here, from here to there. Yeah. Our next step is to bring, so this will be the shortest possible distance on the plan. You will then measure this distance. To get the shortest possible distance on the front or on the elevation, we would bring those lines vertically upward. So for that, I'm changing color. So produce these lines vertically upward. Click here, bring these lines up, come across here, bring this line up as well, vertically. Yes, and now the shortest possible distance on their front elevation would be the distance between those two lines. So I'm changing here, drawing from here to there. Yes, voila, and that's it. That's how we get the shortest possible distance on the auxiliary, first auxiliary view, on the planned elevation, and on the front elevation. All right, so let me walk through again the process. All right, so in order for you to get a part of this, you would need to watch the video, the first video on this. So let me just walk you through real quick. So the first step would be to identify any line, any of those lines. Identify any line